Hello everyone, and welcome back to Court Climbs. If you're wondering what the key differences between the Red River Gorge climbing and New River Gorge climbing are, you're in the right place. All of the information in this video is based on my experiences over 2 years at both the Red and the New. Both climbing areas are full of quality crags, but which one is best for you? Let's take a look at some of the things that are unique to each place. First up, and probably most importantly, the rock. The rock type at the Red River Gorge is Corbin sandstone, and is often heavily featured and pockety. The New River Gorge rock type is Nuttall sandstone, which is harder and generally much less featured than the rock at the Red. If I had to put it simply, the Red feels a lot more like gym climbing than the New does. Let's talk routes. Most of the routes at the New are going to be bolted farther apart and with a lot less attention to bolt placement. The one crag I found at the New to be most like the bolting at the Red is Cotton Club, where the bolts are a bit closer together and the grading is less steep. Speaking of grading, the New grades harder than the Red. When climbing at the Red, I can usually hop on most 510s, and even if I don't send them, at least fight my way up to the top. That hasn't been the case with the New, where not only the physicalities of routes seem harder, but also the mental game. The New's routes just make you think more, even on 5.6 and 5.7 routes. Overall, there are a lot less 5.7 to 5.10 routes at the New than at the Red. I read on Mountain Project that you shouldn't attempt to even climb at the New unless you can climb at least 5.10, but I'd have to disagree with that assessment in such a general sense, because there are a few crags like Sandstonia and Bubba City that have plenty of routes in the 5.7 to 5.10 grade range. Crags at the New are more spread out than crags at the Red. Generally speaking, the approaches are longer, and we have gotten more lost trying to find crags at the New than at the Red. We are usually following instructions via Mountain Project, so pay close attention to all of the instructions if that is also what you are following while at the New. One nice thing about the New is that there are less main parking lot areas than at the Red, so once you've been to a couple different areas, you pretty much will know where you'll be parking. Another nice thing about the New is that none of the crags we've been to have required four-wheel drive. This is in comparison to some of the crags at the Red that have been very sketchy in our adventure Prius to the point that we no longer even attempt them without a vehicle that has higher ground clearance. And that's coming from 2 kids from Montana that grew up driving in rutted gravel roads. As far as types of climbing, the Red is known much more for sport climbing, whereas the New is more diverse and offers a bigger selection of trad, bouldering, and deep water soloing. This isn't to say that the Red doesn't have any trad or bouldering, but it's just a lot less common than in the New. Besides the rock, routes, and crags, one of the biggest differences between the Red River Gorge climbing and New River Gorge climbing is rainy trip experiences. Unless you can climb 5.11 or higher, I wouldn't recommend trying to climb at the New River Gorge when it's rainy. There just aren't very many route options at all that stay dry in the rain that are below that grade level. At least, I couldn't find many during the hours and hours of combing Mountain Project and guidebooks that I did when trying to plan a trip there during raining weather. If you want to go to the New when it's rainy, either be able to climb 5.11 and higher, or expect to do some very chill deep water soloing. The Red is a much better option for when it's rainy if you're a climber that is looking to climb 5.7 to 5.10 routes that stay dry. Camping in the Red overall seems more climber focused than in the New. There are plenty of campgrounds in each area, but at least in our experience, the camping reservations at the New always seem to fill up faster than at the Red. There are also more camping options that are less than $8 a night at the Red, with campgrounds like Lago Linda, Land of the Arches, Miguel's, and Daniel Boone. At the New, every campground we've stayed at has been at least $10 per person per night, including Arrowhead Bike Farm, Ray's, the American Alpine Club, and Chestnut Creek. If you know of any cheaper options, you should let me know in the comments. Both the New River Gorge and Red River Gorge are incredible climbing areas that we are privileged to spend time in regularly. Now that we've talked about the differences between the two areas, let's list a few ways they are similar. Both areas have climbing festivals. For the Red, this is Rocktoberfest, and for the New, it's the Cragging Classic. Both areas are also best climbed in the spring and fall when the weather is ideal. A random similarity between the New and the Red is that they both have bridges that are popular attractions when not climbing. At the New River Gorge, this bridge is the man-made New River Gorge Bridge, which is the third longest single-arch bridge in the world. In contrast, the Red River Gorge has a bridge called the Natural Bridge, a natural rock structure that is often hiked to for recreational purposes. On the topic of recreation, when not climbing, both areas have outdoor activities like biking, whitewater rafting, and backpacking. Have you climbed in either of these areas? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments if you think that there's anything that I missed. If you'd like to see climbing vlogs from both the New and the Red, consider subscribing and checking out some of my outdoor climbing playlists. I hope you learned something, thank you for watching, and as always, stay hyped.